There's a number of key indicators with regards to inflation that are now pointing towards a recessionary period coming on. We've had a crazy bull run where, you could be an idiot in the stock market and make money. And that's been evidenced by crazy valuations of companies. Tesla, for instance, being a prime example of that. But now the party's over and it looks like we're going to start coming back to normal. All of these stocks dropped out the arse. Tech stocks dropped by 75%. Crypto as well. Crypto markets dropped on the back of that. And lots of asset classes have fallen immeasurably. Okay. That's because people are worried about inflation, which is counterintuitive, but people are worried about inflation. You are in Australia. You would have seen yourself that prices in Australia are getting freaking insane. Property prices are absolutely insane. I saw that the median house price now in little old Port Macquarie, where my lovely wife is from, has gone over $1 million in a town of 65,000 people. Just insane. I would not like to be somebody in their 20s looking to get on the housing market in Australia, for instance. That's all thanks to the inflationary pressure that's been putting under. And so after all this inflation, money printing, where the governments have put trillions of dollars into our financial system, what typically happens after that is a recessionary period where there's basically a consolidation. Okay, so this is what's the US inflation rate, and I always think you should take these with a very liberal grain of salt, because inflation rate at this level is a average across a broad basket of consumer-based goods. And those goods have been around for ages, but they're not really indicative of some elements that are hyperinflation. For instance, anybody that's recently tried to get any building work done in, not just in Australia, but right around the world, but certainly in Australia, will know that steel and wood and cement have increased in price by about 100% in the last year. Okay, like insane price increases. That doesn't get reflected in what's called the CPI, Consumer Price Index. It doesn't get reflected in that. Okay, but that's still real inflation. Anyway, so inflation in the US is around 8.5%. In Australia, it's around 5%, something like that, CPI, but the true rate is much higher than that. Globally, the amount of trade that's happening, so what's called export trade, which is a really big indicator of the health of economies, has slowed right down. So exports out of the two big export markets, which is China and Germany, have fallen off out of their arse. That's a technical term. And as a result of that, global trade itself has slowed right down. Oh, here you go. So here's a good guy, Robin Brooks. He's on Twitter. You should follow him. Really smart guy. Here's what he says. He says, global recession is coming. The two biggest export economies in the world, China and Germany, are seeing new exports fall off the arse. Interesting enough, the US has actually gone up, which is interesting. But still, the two biggest, Germany and China, have gone down immeasurably. Okay. And the other final thing as well is oil. So oil, the market for oil recently dropped off a cliff again. And then, of course, on the back of Russia invading Ukraine, and there's all sorts of reasons why they did invade Ukraine, but that's since become really a proxy war between the USA and Russia. As a result of that, oil prices, like crude oil, well, that's gone through the roof. And it's actually one of the best indicators of when a recession is coming is to look at crude oil prices. If they jump by 50% up, then every single time afterwards a recession has come, okay? So that's why I believe we're coming into a recession. All of the indicators, all of the markers suggest that we're absolutely heading towards a recessionary period, okay?